Ah, I feel like I'm making like a really dodgy video. Hi, I'm in bed now. New location. I printed these out, and the printouts are all a bit nuts. But I think this is right. I think this is Sarah. Yes, Sarah Dornan. Hi, Sarah. Hey, I have some questions about game, and are those home videos your home videos, and what is their significance? Ah, good guess. You know, the very first video on the very first level is me coming out of the hospital when I was born. That's my mom. I'm on my mom's lap. Those are all my granddad's old videos. He used to love to take Super 8 films. Not video, but films. And, you know, I think that... Let me just sidetrack here slightly. I love when people hide things in their work. Every single game has interesting cookies, hidden spaces, hidden areas, things to unlock, things to find, secret places. So do all of my games. If you can look around each game, and there are actually links in there. If you find it and you send an email to a very specific email address, I will send you $10. So, I mean, one person has found them. One person. You can look and look and look. It's hard to do because you actually have to go a level, go back a level, go back a level, blah, blah, blah. So it's difficult. But with millions of people playing it, one person's actually found it. So, yeah, those are me. What is their significance? Well, since it's belief systems are very personal. In each of those videos, my granddad probably shot 100 hours of film, Super 8 film. That is a lot of Super 8 film if you know anything about Super 8 film. You're talking about a huge closet filled with canisters. So my sister and I fixed a projector, set it up in a living room, and recorded everything we could with a little digital camera. That's how we transcribed it. And I think each of those videos, to me, is a personal reference to that belief system. Now, obviously, that meaning might only be relevant to me, but sometimes that could be the most powerful image a person can get across, is their own personal interpretation of it. You might not get an exact meaning, but this isn't science, after all. So this is something that people are, I mean, you know, you might just allude to it. You might just get a feeling. But obviously, you were able to get the fact that these are home videos. And to me, that's enough. What's your next question? It says, how do the extra blinking scribbles enrich the text? Are you trying to make people crazy when they play your game? Yes, I'm trying to make people crazy. I'm paid by the government. This would be the U.S. government and the Australian government, where I'm living now. I'm paid by the government to try to make you crazy, because they're worried you're getting a little bit too independent, and they need to control you. So I'm trying to add that little extra layer to it. Now, I think what I'm trying to do with that is a process of three different things. One is I'm trying to make the game messy. I mean, again, as I said before, my goal was to have a very messy game. I wanted something that seemed almost unfinished. I wanted something that seemed like it had been half drawn, that there's sketches and erase marks. Again, this is a very common thing in the art world. They represent something that's organic, to sort of address the process, to make seeing something more real, more handmade, and not enough of that happens in games and new media art. And so my attempt was to recreate what I see in the painting world and the drawing world in the new media art world, and specifically in the game art world. And obviously I think I was successful as far as that goes, at least. In addition, part of this blinking and scribbling and whatnot does make people pay attention to the text. So to a certain extent, it's a device to draw your eye to it. It also adds to the sense that text, anytime you read text, especially in this kind of context, an electronic literature context, a lot of it becomes the text is both a meaning and a visual element. And a lot of people write electronic literature, the text is only a visual element. But clearly for me, there's 2 or 3 different aspects to the text. And one of them is a visual element. And lastly, when I scratch out text, when I scribble out text, it's designed to sort of suggest that I am unsure about that text. I am not sure if I want it and if it fits or not, but I include it because I can. And that is, again, one of the beauties of electronic literature. you can include things you would normally include. With a page, you're limited. You have to make choices, you have to sort of cut things and remove things. With electronic literature, you also make choices, but you have a lot more room to include the tangents that occur in your brain. And to me, the tangents are critical to any storytelling, any poetic experience. We cut off the tangents in fiction and poetry that's in print because of the fact that we kind of have to. It's the interface. The page interface forces us to some extent to cut off tangents. But clearly, James Joyce, people like that, there's a lot of tangent in there. Also very hard to read. Electronic literature, I think James Joyce would be making art games, to be honest with you. Can you imagine James Joyce and Basquiat mixed together? You'll notice in Evidence of Everything Exploding, there's a James Joyce page. See? I'm actually meaning something. Alright, I'm not going to get up because I'm nice and comfortable here, so I'll do the next one. Mr. Rivas. Hello, how are you? Hello, hi. Throughout my experience with Gugag and Berg, I don't know what the second thing was. Me trying to pronounce, I made this, you play this for your enemies. I believe I understood the message you conveyed. I have a question. Okay, what have you done outside the game world to make a difference in the world other than stating messages in your works? That's a really interesting question. That's totally unrelated to games entirely. What kind of thing have I done to make a difference? I don't know. I could spout out things I've done to sort of specifically help people. I could talk about, ways I've helped the field in terms of both advising people, publishing people, mentoring people, helping people, contributing to people's work, contributing to people's careers, that kind of stuff. But I think the larger issue is, what do you leave behind? I mean, one of the dangers of electronic literature is when the electricity goes off, we're effed, right? We're effed in the F hole. Because when it's gone, we don't exist anymore, really, without electricity. So what else have we done? Okay, well, how about this? Last week, I was crossing the street from the from the mall, Pac Fair, Pacific Fair Mall, over to the library, where I work sometimes, in Broadbeach, in Arion, Australia. And the little green guy comes up so I can cross the street. And I noticed to my right, there was a woman going to turn. She was all like this, ready to go, waiting for me to get out of her way. She's kind of inching. You know what people do when they inch. I noticed there was a woman behind me. And she was with a pram, a baby carriage, a baby buggy sort of thing, with a baby in it. And she's running to make the light. And so I'm figuring out the geometry here. And I'm seeing the woman who's itching to go, wanting me to get out of the way, ready to gun her engine. And I'm seeing the pram behind me race up. I know if I get out of the way of the woman that wants to inch forward, she's going to zoom up. And she's going to zoom up as fast as she can through there at the same moment the woman with the pram is crossing. So I'm thinking, I could get out of the way, but I'm going to stand there. So I just stand there. And I stare at the woman in the car. My God, she starts honking and yelling and cussing me out. Get out of the way. What the hell are you doing? You crazy? Blah, blah. And then after about 10, 15 seconds of cussing me out, which is a long time to cuss someone out, the woman with the pram, speeds right behind me. And I'm looking at the girl saying, do you realize if I hadn't been standing here, you would have killed the baby, most likely, and injured the woman? Do you care? Didn't care at all. Almost hit me as I moved out of her way. To me, I thought, what is it? What is it about what people do in the world that inspires them to care so little about each other? And so maybe I think what a person has best to offer to the world is it is their artwork. I totally agree with that. I think my artwork has actually opened a lot of people up to the possibilities of experiencing artwork outside of a gallery context, of experiencing new types of artwork, of experiencing new ideas. But more importantly, probably are those small moments that we've gone in and you can actually help someone by just simply paying attention. And I think if you really pay attention and you care about people in general, it's amazing what you can actually accomplish in terms of helping people. So maybe one thing I did is I kept a baby from dying. That sounds so dramatic. Sounds good though, doesn't it? Alright, there's one last question. I'm going to go one last location. We'll do that one.